This week we're going to show you some of our favourite spots to park Daisy our camper van and explore the beautiful kingdom of Fife. And for people who like to park in official parking places, there's a new initiative by the Fife Coast and Countryside Trust that means from the seaside up into the hills there are official places to park if you can find a spot. Today we're going to start you off at one of our favourite stopping points. This is a wee car park that is right next to the beautiful coastal village of Pittenweem. And if you want a picture perfect village, then Pittenweem is definitely the place for you. The Fife Coast and Countryside Trust website has a list of all their official parking spaces, but this is our favourite because down there that is the village of Pittenweem, and on a wee headland overlooking the village down there, that is the car park. So it's a short walk down the coastal path to get into the village, and once you get there it's got everything you could want. It's got a cracking chippy, check out our Chip Ahoy episode, and it's got a really good pub that we might be heading along to a wee bit later for a wee drinky. But before we start, one thing I would like to give you a warning of. These restrictions are very zealously enforced. You might think, oh, nobody's going to come here in the morning before we leave. Yes, they will. I'm not quite sure what time they come round at, but when we got up the next morning, we had a ticket because there were 4 camper vans parked on top of this little car park, and we were not in an official camping space. Now, fortunately, the ticket was just for information. It wasn't actually a fine, but it also came with a note saying, if you do it again, we will definitely fine you. So you pay your £10, but if you're not in an official camper van parking space, and it doesn't matter, you've just wasted £10, and they will enforce it quite rigorously. So yeah, lesson learned. There used to be 5 camper van parking spots up in this car park, now there are only 3. Why they've reduced it, no idea. I'm guessing it's just because of the popularity of the scheme. Anyway, it's still a very nice place to come and park, even for the day if you don't stay overnight. Our short walk from the car park is the West End Bar and Beer Garden, which is one of our favourites. We do like this wee place. It's always a lot better, obviously, if you can get in. After a false start going to the front door, we're now going to go in via the boatyard. If you're looking for a recommendation for somewhere to eat in Pittenweem, we can wholeheartedly suggest this pub. It is really good. The food is brilliant. The Bex usually has the fish and chips, and I usually have the steak and chips, except you can't call them fish and chips and steak and chips. You've got to give them like posh titles, but you know what they are. If you want to see more of what Pittenweem has to offer, check out our episode that was called Chip Ahoy, in which De Niro and I explore this beautiful wee village.
We are awake bright and early at Pittenweem. De Niro is having his breakfast. Well, I say we are awake bright and early. Somewhere under that pile of covers is Bex. Bex, are you alive? I think what she needs are the magical healing properties of coffee.
So that was the coast, and now let's go northern light hunting in the countryside. This is another one of the Fife Coast and Countryside Trust's parking places where you pay £10 a night to park in a marked bay, which is fine because there's a marked bay there that's got somebody camping in it. There's 5 marked bays on top of this hill, and I've just noticed the person that's in one of them is leaving. And the good news is the nice man in the car moved it so we could get Daisy into a camper van spot. We know from Pittenweem if you're parked outside a camper van spot, even if you've paid, they will come along and they will ticket you, or at least give you a warning. And we've already had one warning, so I wouldn't trust the second one. But we're in a legal parking space, we paid our tenner, and now we're going to have a wee gin and wait for the Northern Lights to start doing their light show. So now we have just got to wait for the Aurora Borealis thing to light up the night sky. So how are we going to pass the time?
I'm just going to ask you that. What will we do?
No idea. De Niro will have a wee lie down. It's now getting darker and darker, and parking up here has become absolute carnage. The wee man in his van that does the checking for the Fife Coast and Countryside Trust will have a field day because I bet none of these are paying for their parking. You can't really see the traffic carnage outside. We are parked out the way and drinking gin, and Bex is getting she's saying some choice words about people that are trying to, like, people are arriving, and there is nowhere to park. It is just it's mayhem. Oh, it's nice sitting in a van with a gin watching people getting stressed. And after all the excitement and the anticipation of the Northern Lights, unfortunately they didn't actually appear. Hey-ho, that is nature for you. But at least we were parked close to the hill for a nice walk in the morning.
There you are, that's a kitchen with a view. You'll have to take our word for it because you can't actually see the view. But Bex is all ready, she's got her sunglasses on and everything. That is wildly optimistic.
I'm ready to go up the hill after I've had my coffee, of course.
These are the little signs that you look for that tells you it's a designated overnight parking bay. Of course, remember, even if you park and pay and you're not in one of these bays, they will give you a ticket, or in our case, a warning, but next time a ticket. And they mark the bays out in a way that you can't actually see particularly clearly. They've got these stones set into the ground, so there's a bay there, and there's one over there, and there's one where Daisy parked, and then another couple up there. So there's 5 bays up here, which I guess in the summer is really busy. But this place you don't mind the tenner because of the facilities. I'm not quite sure what time the toilets open and close at, but it's a Sunday morning and they were opened when we got here last night, and they were open this morning, so I don't know if they closed in between. Don't take my word for the fact there's 24-hour toilets, but there might be.
Is this the right way?
How long has she known me in my sense of direction? I've no idea. We're heading up, that's the best I can do. Well, it is clearing up a bit. Honest, you'll have to take my word for it, because it's still, we are inside a cloud. De Niro had a little impromptu zoomie this morning when he went to visit another camper van, because he jumped out and took off for some zoomies. It's like, yes, De Niro, please don't do that. And then, really annoyingly, he stood and just out of reach. And every time I went to grab him, he took another step further away, like he knew exactly what he was doing. De Niro! Got to edit that bit out. Whose idea was it to put a hoodie on? It's a bit warm. Not used to it being Scottish. Look at the stunning scenery. I mean, that is just amazing. Look at that. This is quite interesting, as well as looking down on Bex and De Niro. We're also now looking down on all that cloud, because if you look behind us, it's clear all the way to the summit. De Niro has just walked up that hill and he's puggled. Yesterday he was on the beach with his little friend Dash, and the silly big lump was zooming quite a lot in the sea, which is quite nice. Nice view of Falkland down there, as you can not see. A nice view of Ben Lomond over there that you can't see either. And over there, there's some fields that you can see. So that's the least interesting thing to look at, and it's all we can see. The rest of it is just a wall of grey. But here's what you could have won. Over there is the Grampian Mountains. Over there is the Moorfoot Hills, and over there is the North Sea. So it's all on this chart, so you just got to use your imagination. And over there is a greyhound and lady. You've got the baldy bottom. This time of year, De Niro's bottom goes a bit bald, which looks quite strange, but apparently it's normal for greyhounds. Certainly normal for him. We're going to go down the other side of the hill that we came up. It looks like it might be a bit steep, but there's definitely a path here. We saw it a few minutes ago before this mist stuff rolled back in again, so let's keep going. At least we're going downhill. As long as we go downhill, we're fine. Over in front of us there, you can probably just about see, there's one of those little trig point things, trigonometry points used for surveying, or used to be used for surveying. I wonder why it's not at the very top of the hill, but down here, usually they're on the highest point. No idea. This is greyhound walking level extreme. Although to be fair, he looks a bit more confident than Bex does. It's quite steep. And I'm here to help if they fall over, and by help I mean laugh and keep filming it. I wonder how many greyhounds have been up that hill, or down that hill technically, but there they go, heading for the main path at the bottom of the hill, beside the old lime kilns that we showed you on our Lomond and Leven video. Oh, I missed that, sorry. Everybody's fine, and that is us just about at the bottom of the very steep bit of the hill. We're heading along this path, which hopefully takes us onto the main sort of path, but we'll soon find out. When you look at it from down here, that is quite an extreme level of greyhound walk.
Apart from when you fall flat on your bum.
Yeah, I didn't film that. Don't tell her. Hi gang, how are you all doing? That's a very nice field you've got there. Oh, hello, that's a greyhound. He's oh, they're coming over to say hello. I'm glad there's a barbed wire fence between me and them. Hello gang.
Why are they all coming over? They must think we've got something nice.
I don't know, maybe they're...
Hello.
They're like, what's that thing down there? It looks like a little cow on a lead. They probably don't see many greyhounds, to be fair.
What a sociable bunch.
They're all coming over to say hello. We've got an actual audience.
Hello.
Moo. That's a fairly imposing wall of cow, and it's not us they're looking at, they're all looking at De Niro. Hello. Are you going to talk to me, or you want to see the greyhound? Alright, we're giving these cows far too much airtime. Half this episode will be cows. Guys, you're all going to be famous. Well, not very, but a bit. And after that, we are back. So now we're going to go down into the village of Falkland, which again we've visited before, but we'll show it to you guys again because we quite like it, and there's a really, really good wee scone shop. We've come off the hill to a nearby organic farm shop called the Pillars of Hercules for some reason that I can't figure out, and they make it quite clear no overnight parking, but it's a nice place for a bit of breakfast. We're going to go and get a coffee and inevitably a scone. De Niro's in the back of the van and we just asked him if he wanted to come with us, and instead of jumping out the van he lay down with his back to us. I think he's in a bit of a strop. Stroppy puppy. Don't park your car up a tree. Good advice. Bex is it's a scone on offer. She is impatiently waiting.
Soup and a cheese scone.
Soup and a cheese scone or a fried egg roll. It's all vegetarian unfortunately, so it's the opposite of a kebab shop.
Unfortunately, it's nice.
Unfortunately.
Most of the food here is organic and free range and all that gubbins with unidentifiable green bits in it that may well be spinach. I'm never sure, but they also have some very nice cakes, so if you don't fancy the look of any of the food you can always have some of the nice rocky road. Do not adjust your sets, but yes, this is Scotland and it's now warm enough to sit outside in a t-shirt. Okay, it probably won't last, but we're definitely going to make the most of it while it does.
Today's soup of choice is sweet potato and leek that comes with bread, and unsurprisingly Bex is having a fruit scone. Bex just said, people must think I live on scones. Yeah, I do.
I don't.
The Fife Lichen Appreciation Group, I bet that is a barrel of laughs. So we had a nice night up on top of East Lomond last night, although we didn't actually see anything. And then we came down to the Pillars of Hercules for a cup of coffee and a wee scone, or in my case a wee bowl of soup. And then we came down here where I've never been before and didn't even know where we were until I actually checked on the map. We are in Strathmiglo and we've not stopped here for any particular reason that I could mention. I mean, there's no reason to stop here that I can think of. But I think Bex knew where I was headed for because she stayed back in the van with a reluctant De Niro doing a spot of crocheting. I think she's getting a bit addicted to the crocheting. Wait till you see her latest projects. They are they're genuinely amazing. Right, this is not an episode of Places for the Past. There will be a full thing on this place going up on that, but let's have a look around and see what we can see that is worth seeing. I said see far too many times in that sentence. So there's the wee stone from 1687 and it's got, what's it got on it? It's got a chevron and a thing and oh, that's an axe. That is an oldie worldy, oldie fashioned axe. I've never seen that on a tombstone. Either this man was a forester or he was an executioner. An executioner sounds much more dramatic. And over on this one it is 1738, so again not new. This burial, no, it's not burial place, it's this burial place, be long with the N backwards, to Francis with the N backwards, Todd in Bankwell. So that's Francis Todd's burial place, except they couldn't spell burial. Yeah, this is quite an old corner of the graveyard. There is SR and IR on their little tomb with their little hourglass. I don't think that's got a date. Oh yes, it has. Oh, it's got a date and it's quite an old one. 1681, I think. And oh yeah, over there is 1715. And over there is 1687. And down here is no date, but some very pretty flowers. I better get back and see how the crochet lady is getting on in the crochet mobile. Eventually she's going to end up with crocheted seat covers and crocheted covers on the rear view mirrors, and yeah, she likes crocheting for Bex. Oh, a church. The lady behind me just came along and her children shouting and she's like, I'm sorry, I think you just spoilt your shot. She might be a YouTuber. Oh, look what I've just seen. A sign up there says, for sale. Oh, I might buy a church. Bex, we're buying a church. With the monkey puzzle tree in the garden. I do like these wee villages. There's the old village garage that's probably not changed in 100 years since the motor car first came to Strathmiglo, and there's some really nice big sandstone houses. That's called Kirkwynd, which leads to Cassviews. I have no idea, I'm just gibbering now. Oh yes, but down here, and I'm going to do the sort of surprised voice, oh my, look at that tower, because actually we parked Daisy right next to it, so we've already seen it. But I'll pretend that I haven't, then you can be just as surprised as I am. So that house there is called the Clock House, and that is the Clock Tower. I have no idea how old it is. Let's see if we can find anything that looks like a date. I'm guessing probably not. I'm guessing it is really cool though. It's got a plaque up there with a goose and a something, and then the clock obviously, and this thing, which I'm guessing was once a sundial but isn't anymore. Yeah, that is really cool. No, I'm not talking about the van, I'm talking about the tower. let's go and do some crochet. Oh no, the crochet hook's there, she's not crocheting, she'll be on her phone, these bloody teenagers.
So that was a wee look at a tiny wee bit of Strathmiglo, a really pretty village. We'll have to go back and explore in more detail at some point in the future. Anyway, for now we are heading back to sunny Methil, and then that'll be that for this wee trip. Our next trip we're going to head along the coast a little bit to somewhere with a bit more happening. We're going to go and show you the van life options and a bit more of Kirkcaldy.
If you are not staying overnight and you want to park up somewhere, this is Seafield Beach car park, which is very good. Now, if you're driving a big van, it does have a height barrier, but I've never actually seen the height barrier closed, so you should be okay. Don't blame us if you're not. They do lock the gates at night, so don't be tempted to do a sneaky overnight because you won't be able to get out. So this is a car park that is handy for the beach, but if you're here for an overnight, we're going to take you and show you another car park not far away that is, well, it's very popular with overnight campers and very convenient for both the beach and Kirkcaldy town centre. And should you have a nutty greyhound, it's also quite good for this. Oh, De Niro, you're supposed to be running about. He's like, nope, too many things to smell. De Niro has just realised that he is not attached, but he is going to go over there with his mummy. I don't know why he likes her so much. I think it's probably something to do with all the biscuits that she gives him. De Niro! De Niro! Come on then! De Niro! Come on! As happy as a greyhound on a beach. You are a bit tired, De Niro, ready for a wee lie down. So yeah, as you can see, it's not a bad wee beach. Can't guarantee that big shiny thing in the sky will be there though, because obviously this is Scotland. So that place we were just at is no good for overnight parking, but if you want a really, and I mean really good overnight camping spot, you come about, well, it was just over there and we are over here, and that is the view. This is a parking place with lots and lots of big parking spaces, big enough for Daisy or even proper campers, and yeah, it's right on the beach and there are no restrictions and it's great. It's also got over there public toilets and a really nice wee cafe. Well, I think it's really nice. Bex is not quite so sure. This is also one of the best beaches for beachcombing, and the reason is that over there behind me used to be Link's Pottery, and Link's Pottery's dump for all the stuff that didn't work was the sea. And it was like that until they built this promenade in sort of 1920s. So up until then it was all dumped in the sea. So the sea is still full of bits of pottery, which is always really cool. So that is the car park there. And if you want to get some food, there are supermarkets behind it. Sort of over there there's a Morrison's, and over there there's an Aldi's or a Lidl or a something. And over that way is the town centre of Kirkcaldy, where there's basically everything you could need. So yeah, it's really nice. It's a great place to park. If we didn't live so close, we'd definitely be staying here more often. As an aside, this beach looks completely different to the last time we were here. This is all like several feet of rocks you've got to scramble up. There's a lot of sand here that wasn't here last time. I know you probably don't care about lots of sand, but it is quite noticeably different. So let's go and see what treasure there is lying about. It's always good watching YouTube people at work. However much you think you love the beach, you don't love it as much as De Niro does. He's just been up at the vets and he's kennel cough thing up his nose, so he's a bit sort of why did you do that to me, you bully? There are lots of bits of white pottery about. I think that the pottery fairies have been out and collected all of the interesting stuff, but there is still a lot to find on this beach. So if you're into your sea glass, you find some lovely little bits of sea glass and some lovely slightly bigger bits of sea glass and a passing greyhound. Hi De Niro! And if you want proof that this was a place where they used to make pottery, there is, sticking out of the sand, that is a kiln stilt that they used to separate the flatwares when they were in the kiln. And oh, there's a little green bit. This beach is so nice, and on a day like this, yeah, I can't beat it. The place we were showing you before, where the height barrier and things, is just over there behind those big boulders. What a perfect day. Not making this into another boring beachcombing video, but this is a pottery that we find a lot of here. Bex and I call it Kirkcaldy blue. It's dark blue on one side and light blue on the other. Interestingly, we've never actually found like a plate in any shops or charity shops that are like that. We find most other bits, but never that. Maybe it was for export only, I have no idea. Oh, that's pretty cool. He says, pretending that he's picked up for the first time. I thought that was plastic, but it's not. It's glass. That's no idea, but quite interesting. Oh, and there's another little bit of pottery, and where's the greyhound? He's over there. One of my favourite things about being on this particular beach is you find bits of broken thing, obviously, and you pick it up and you think, what is that? And you spin it round and look at it, and then you go, oh right, it's a spout from a jug. How exciting. Do you know what one of Kirkcaldy's biggest exports was back in the day? It was teapots, and you're always finding bits of teapot here. They're not always quite as identifiable as that. Sometimes when we're digging around here, we find like pretty much intact ones that we put plants in, because I think they make amazing flower pots, and also it's a wee bit of history. There are quite a lot of bigger bits lying about today, with this all being sort of churned up and sand moved about and stuff, because that looks like it's not been in the sea very long. So it's always fascinating to think where it's actually been, where it's, you know, it's been lying about somewhere for 100 years, and it's just sort of appeared here today for me to pick up and show you good people, and then put down again. Another mystery object. I actually had to pick it up to figure out it's a bottle opener, probably of somebody's keyring. That's quite cool. Do I want to keep that or put it down again? I think I'll probably just put it down again. One of our very earliest episodes was filmed in Kirkcaldy, so you can go back and check that out and see how much our quality has improved, or more likely not improved.
And just beside the car park, there's this rather sombre grey building is a takeaway that does proper traditional food like bacon rolls and cups of coffee. And if you have a bacon roll, you guaranteed an audience. There's always some. Oh no, not me. No, I'm not wanting any of your bacon roll. I'm just standing here going for a wee squat. Oh, I might have a bit if you've got a bit spare though.
How brave are you? Get it, sir. Come and get it. Come and get it. Not that brave. Come on. Nice bit of bread.
The crow did get his bit of bread before this big seagull came across and nicked it, and we are heading along to Leven.
We've come into the town of Leven, like I just said we were going to. Hey, look at that, seamless, the magic of television. And this is Leven Links, which is a golf course mostly. There's lots of golf around here. It's a very popular part of the golfing world, and that is one of those sort of gulag caravan parks. And there's Daisy. Now this is a really good place to come and park overnight if you want, for the reasons that I'm about to explain. And there is one very good reason. It is proper camper van parking, and it is controlled by the Fife Coast and Countryside Trust, but unlike the other ones that we've been to, where it's like £10 a night, this place is, well, we'll show you, it's over here. So that rather wordy and slightly threatening sign explains it all to you. This is Leven Beach East, and you can park here for £5, and it's a suggested donation into their wee honesty box, so if you don't want to pay the £5 you don't have to. But once again, they have got 10 spaces, and if there's more than 10 camper vans here, or if you're parked overnight not in an overnight space, they will probably ticket you, because I think they quite like doing that. It does say there that all the money that they raise goes back into the facilities, so I suppose the £5 is not bad. If you want to leave a bit more you can. If you want to leave nothing, I don't suppose there's anything they can do about that, but it's not really in the spirit of things, because there has been pushes for camper van parking, proper camper van parking down here, and now we've got it, and it's nice and handy, because this is the camper van, and there's a nice wee bit to sit and have your dinner, and that is the town over there. And if we go just along here and down this hill, guess what? You are right on the beach. So there is Leven Beach. I'll get down here a little bit further. I've started this too early. I should have started later on, then I could have done a big sort of grand panoramic sweep. Now we have done an episode from Leven, so if you want to see more of Leven and what it's got to offer, check that out. But there, that is Leven Beach. Over there is Lower Largo, and along there is Methil and Buckhaven. So in that direction you've got wind turbines and shipyards. In that direction you've got pretty picturesque villages. You choose what way you want to go. De Niro loves it down here, but you'll probably notice that he's not with me today, because the poor wee lamb is not well. He's forever picking up things and eating them, and he's picked up something and eaten it that's made him a bit unwell in ways that you can probably imagine. I think it's quite weird how it's all sort of sorted out. There's sand, and then there's stones, and then there's sand, and then there's stones. Thank you, Mother Nature. That's very neat. So there you are. That is is the van parking at Leven on the East Promenade. Right, that's enough gibbering about beaches and van parking. We're now going to go to one of the prettiest little villages in the area to show you what they've got to offer. We mostly did like proper stealth camping just at the side of the road, but now that Daisy's got a bike rack on the back, she looks a bit less like a work van and a bit more like a camper van. So yeah, we've got to be a bit more discerning on where we park these days. Welcome to perhaps the most seasidey of all the little seaside villages in Fife. This is Elie, and it's cracking. You are going to like this quite a lot. Over there, obviously, is Elie Harbour, which has a pay and display car park and big signs up saying no overnight parking and ANPR cameras in use and all that stuff. So pay and display down there, or park just up there and pay out. Anybody fancy going for a swim? Probably still a little bit cold, to be fair. That's somewhere where you can't overnight park. Let's go now and find somewhere where you can if you're lucky. When I said if you were lucky, I wasn't joking. This is about the most popular overnight camping spot that we know of, and it has got the usual Fife coast and countryside. It's got set out bays and you park in those bays, and if you park out with those bays they will give you a ticket. And the reason it is so popular is, well, I've just shown you. That is not a bad view. There's the harbour where we just were, there's the bay, and there is Ruby Beach where you find your body weight in rubies every week, apparently, or possibly not. Here there are 7 bays, but it's the same setup, so you're getting the idea by now. I'm going to stop gibbering about it. There are facilities here. There's some toilets, not sure of the opening hours, no idea. I would guess they come round and lock them at night. Right, let's go for a wee explore down to that thing. The sign's right in the way. Very professional as always. That thing over there, or better still, let's have a wee drone look at it. That little white thing you can see there is obviously a lighthouse, and it was built by a guy called David Allen Stevenson, who was the grandson of Robert Stevenson, who did the Bell Rock that we saw when we did our visit to Arbroath, or we saw like off in the distance. As well as the lighthouse out here, there's also a thing called Ladies Tower, which is it was built in the 1770s. It's a changing room and a meeting place for Lady Janet Anstruther of Elie House. So when she went sea bathing, people rang the bell to tell the peasants to stay away. This is my private bay, you can all go away. We're going to come back and do Elie in more depth at some point, but for now this is just a wee round. Finally, the weather is good enough to put the drone up without it getting soaked or blown to the next continent. The good people of Elie do take care of their open spaces. This used to be like the toll bar when it was a toll road that you had to pay to go through. Now it's just a wee park, and over here there is hello Mr. Crow, hang on, I've just seen something cool. It's not exactly Easter, I'm guessing this has been up for a while, but we do like a little spot of yarn bombing. That is it's really nice. I like that chicken there, the big brown one. It is a nice wee place, and it's one that's often skipped if you're sort of village hopping along the east nook of Fife, because you don't go on the main road, you take a turn off just after you get out of Leven to get down here, but it is well worth the detour. It's a lovely wee place, and it benefits from a complete lack of any sort of chain stores or big multinational companies. It's all little local businesses, which is always nice, and it has an absolutely cracking wee church, which we've already covered in sort of great depth on Places for the Past, our other channel. But in the meantime, while we're passing, I'm just going to go and show you one thing, if you don't mind. And if you do mind, well, tough, because we're going anyway. This is my favourite graveyard thing in any graveyard that we've ever visited. I don't know what its history is because it's all chipped away, but yeah, this is Mr. Skillybob. Got to admit, he is pretty cool. Although I have just noticed this time, and I've looked at the statue a lot, and that's the head there, and then the body is ridiculously long, and at the very bottom obviously there's his feet, that you can tickle the skeleton's feet if you want, if you're a bit odd. So I'm not going to, obviously, because I'm not a bit odd. And every time I come here I say I must try and see online if I can find out what any of this text says, and every time I go away and completely forget until I come back again. But anyway, that is our friend Mr. Skillybob. We're now not going to do any more in the graveyard, we're going to go and show you something else. Nope, definitely no more graveyard, absolutely not. Right, we're leaving now, honest. Where I'm going next is in front of us. That is a wee baker's that do an amazing fruit loaf. This is ridiculous, I'm talking about fruit loaves to people, but anyway, they do an absolutely amazing fruit loaf, but they always sell out quite quickly, so hopefully today I'm here early enough to actually get one, or possibly two.
Can I get your 2 fruit loaves please, and a multi-seed as well please? And if you're wondering why I bought 2 fruit loaves, that's because one of them will make it home and the other one has got frankly no chance. I'm just going to give you a quick look at this because I think it's really interesting. It's the town's war memorial, but it's got William G. Affleck, who was a sergeant major, was a bank accountant, and then you've got a farmer and a golf professional and a chauffeur and a club maker and a gardener. People's professions are listed on this memorial. I've never seen that anywhere else. I really like that. Telegraphist, fisherman, plumber, club maker. Yeah, it is cool. And that is that for this wee episode. I'm now going to sit in a graveyard and eat an entire loaf of bread. No, you're weird. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you soon for more Scotland on a shoestring. The Fife Coast and Countryside Trust look after wee car parks all over the Kingdom of Fife. They're dotted about everywhere, as you can see from these maps. And as well as that, obviously, there are other places that you can park. There's council car parks with no restrictions. There's at the side of the road, as long as you don't upset anybody. Wherever you park, please leave the place exactly as you find it. Don't be a nuisance and don't upset anybody. Don't obstruct gateways and all that stuff you all know because you've all got common sense.